I heard a story this weekend.
All right.
Did you drink in the locker room with WWE superstars Stone Cold Steve Austin and WWE superstar Brock Lesnar?
Larry needs a shout out too.
And WWE trainer Larry?
I'm happy Steve told this story. Mr. Austin.
That was sweet.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because we run a vlog of WrestleMania that Foxy put together.
Yep.
And at the end of the vlog, it is me coming up to the camera, flipping it off, and saying, "We did it, man," and then walking away. And Foxy says, "After 10,000 beers." Mm-hmm. What we didn't have in there was a bottle of whiskey as well.
What?
Right.
So there was 10,000 beers and a bottle of whiskey. And Mr. Austin was talking to TMZ Sports. I believe he was talking to Mojo, who was working there. Obviously, former WWE superstar and NFL guy. And what took place is Stone Cold Steve Austin, a man I've looked up to for my entire life. Obviously, he was the blue-collar hero during the Attitude Era. He was literally my family, my community, my neighborhood in a superhero form. Basically telling his boss to go fuck himself, drinking beer, raising hell. Nobody can tell me what to do. You are the authority, fuck off, pretty much, is what he was. Just blue-collar hero. So getting a chance to like meet him, know him, work with him during WrestleMania, crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then what he did this weekend was absolutely bananas. Here's an interview Stone Cold Steve Austin did that is pretty, like crazy to think about, AJ. I've lived the dumbest life of all time. This is one of the crazier things that has ever happened.
Pat McAfee's sell on your stunner at WrestleMania. Where does that rank all time? That's got to be pretty up there.
Man, top three.
What?
Top three. And I got to say top three because, The Rock was number one, the way he oversold, and Scott Hall and some of the other guys that took it. But, the way Pat has a natural feel for the business, epic performer, great on the stick, athletically, that match he had with Theory was awesome. And then the kicker was not only the sell of the stunner, but I don't know if I threw him out of the ring or he ended up out of the ring, but to lay there selling, still guzzling the beer, the presence of mind to ad lib and improvise and like this is a moment without even thinking about it. He's I think he's amazing. He's very entertaining, and as a human being, I like him a whole lot. And here's an off the record story. I was, the second night that we were at Mania, I was just planning on drinking whiskey with my Broken Skull Sessions crew.
What?
And so we had a bottle all lined up, and we were just going to drink during the show and show respect to the people that were working. Well, Vince called me into his room and said, "Hey, man, would you come out in the end, stun me, McAfee, and Theory?" And I said, "Sure." So I couldn't drink until after the show. Okay. So the show happens. I go out there, stun all those cats. Brock Lesnar gets done with his match, the main event with Roman Reigns. And me and Brock had been wanting to bond together and have a few cocktails to begin with. Right. And he goes, "Hey, man, you got anything?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Where are we meeting?" He goes, "My locker room." So it was myself, Brock Lesnar, Larry, one of the trainers who's been there forever, Larry. And Pat McAfee. And we took down a fifth. We just passed the bottle around. At first we were drinking out of little cups. Then it just turned into the bottle. And we took down a fifth of Maker's Mark in about an hour. And then we all went our separate ways. And I heard through the grapevine that a couple of those guys woke up with severe headaches. Yeah. It was a bonding moment, after a big show like that of four guys. And I've just barely met Pat. But he was already one of the boys because of his football background and how everybody, in WWE has taken to him. And me and Brock's relationship goes back a long way, as does Larry. So it was a good time. And that was one of my highlights of WrestleMania, a behind-the-scenes moment that I shared with you.
Man, that was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hey, it was cool hearing him say that. You know what I mean? That was cool to hear him
say that. My first time seeing it. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm sure you had a great time. Sure sounds like it.
No, we had a blast in there. It was, there was numerous times I was looking around like,
it's awesome.
The fuck am I doing here?
This is wild.
Tell you what, it was good vibes in there, though. And Larry, I saw a lot of people tweeting me yesterday, "We all wish we were Larry," or something like that. It's like, well, I wish I was Larry. Larry's a fucking legend. Larry's been around the WWE for like 25, 30 years as a trainer, so he's been on the road. Mm-hmm. He's a West Virginia guy as well. I mean, nice. He is absolute stud, but he's friends with everybody, play cards with everybody, do the whole thing. And obviously, Brock and I have a hilarious friendship that I think people. There was a photo of us in New York City that got out.
Yep.
That got out during that whole thing. But that is a friendship that I don't think anybody would have ever guessed to happen or expect to happen. But once it did, it's like, this is fucking he's one of one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, both of them are.
Brock Lesnar's one of the boys, though. Like, he, when he came into the studio and obviously did the interview, that was at the beginning of us kind of getting to know each other or whatever. He's a great time. Brock has always been very, very good to me. And Brock has to live a vastly different life because of how, like, recognizable he is. He's Brock Lesnar. So, like, you see just, like, that's the biggest white I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He is so broad. He's just, like, as wide as every door. Tall, always has like cowboy hat on too.
Bud.
So anywhere he goes, it's immediately like, if you don't know who it is, you're immediately saying, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then you're finding out. So like, I think he, doesn't let a lot of people into his world because of said thing. So getting a chance to become friends with Brock Lesnar has been a legendary thing that I'm very thankful for. And he is a hilarious human being. Absolutely hilarious human being. And then all of a sudden, because I got a text from Brock, it was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I got to fly back. We got the show tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, come through my locker room or whatever. So I go into his locker room, and Steve and Brock are sitting there, and there's like 50 beers in the cooler in the middle there, all Steve Weiser's beer there. And I come in, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I go to Steve, I'm like, man, you stunned me, you son of a bitch, rattlesnake. And they go, have a beer or whatever. So I have one beer, and then we start talking about it all. And as I'm drinking it, I'm like, this is hilariously absurd. And then Larry comes in. I think he's the one who brought the bottle. I think he had the bottle from the whole thing.
Beast.
And then all of a sudden, it just started going.
Yeah, I guess this is what we're doing.
It just started going. And it was
Got to finish it once you start it, right?
awesome, dude. It was incredible. And I didn't want to say anything to anybody ever. I didn't want to be the one that was like, yeah, I got boozed up with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brock Lesnar.
Right.
In the middle of a Dallas Cowboy locker room, too, because we were at the Cowboy Stadium. So the locker room that Brock got was one of these monster locker rooms.
Yeah.
Music playing, obviously, in the back. It was awesome. And I'm eternally grateful for this dumbass life that I get to live. And I appreciate the fact that the GOAT, Steve, gives me a little bit of a how you doing. And I'm very lucky that I can hopefully have a moment that'll live on forever in both their minds as a super positive one.
Absolutely.
I think it was a good time, AJ. It was a good time.
I'd say that's a good positive story you could hang on to. Everyone involved. That had to be,
Yeah,
especially
I'd
the fact that
say.
it was in Dallas too. Like,
I'm thinking it was.
Connor's over there thinking, yeah, that'll do.
So we're done?
Yeah. Jenny's over there like,
Yeah, that'll do.